Life must be exciting for women. Women are presumed innocent until proven guilty, whereas males are presumed guilty unless proven innocent. Today, it's more often guilty even when proven innocent and innocent even when proven guilty, which is a shame. Women soon started to complain about things like compliments, dating pressures, and even guys who look at them. Men then started to disregard them after giving them what they wanted. They now bemoan the lack of interest. This is evidence that they lack direction. In reality, not all women aim to undermine all males. The crucial problem is that, in this genocentric society, any woman may, if she so chooses, ruin any man's means of subsistence. All it takes is one accusation to destroy the guys. Let's not forget how the absurd Believe All Women movement was included in the Me Too movement. I think the movement has openly opposed males ever since that day. They came up with this ineffective, misogynistic rule of behavior. Men are shrewdly adapted to a culture that forces them to play a predetermined, rigged game. The majority of guys have just chosen the prudent course and will not use a marked deck. I think a lot of males feel the same way about women these days because of the way they act. Their conduct has just gotten to the point where I find it difficult to carry on a discussion with them for very long before I get bored of hearing from them. However adorable they may look, it won't change how utterly irritating and immature they have grown to be. Men just steer clear of anything that can be even slightly misinterpreted and cause them to get into trouble. Never date a woman in the place you work. Once you break up, then it becomes awkward and sometimes toxic. I know it's convenient, but don't do it. Keep conversations about the business only. Ignore the women as much as possible. It is too easy to just not have anything to do with them because of what they might do. When you are guilty and not even given a chance to prove your side of the case. In the job world today, I would never be alone with a woman unless it was recorded with sound, so I could prove her wrong if she decided to bring charges after you piss her off somehow. All women do is whine. If you say hello to one, she'll whine. If he's at work, she'll whine. And if he's dumb enough to ask her out, she'll whine. Women have a complaint for everything. Guys, put your interests first and overlook her lack of value. She isn't worth your time or effort. I find it amusing how some ladies will post hateful comments on the internet about males who try to contact them in any way. We saw a video the other day from a woman who said a man in a parking lot was 30 feet away and said, "Excuse me, miss," and by her own words, she went crazy on the man for saying just that and being within 30 feet of her. Nowadays, until you can prove your innocence, you are guilty. Men are most afraid of this. God forbid if a woman even alleges untruly that a guy harassed her at work, that man will lose his job and any chance of getting another employment in the future, along with his reputation and self-esteem. That is the enormous advantage that women have over men at work. We had a whole Me Too movement where we had literal land whales complaining if men in the workforce looked at them too long or in the wrong way. We have women complaining over the male gaze. So men are now keeping a respectful distance at work and only interacting with women at work about work. When it comes to harassment in the workplace, companies always terminate the man without an investigation. Women have caused this problem. Many men have financial obligations, some have families, and nobody wants to get fired because some woman decided her flow was too heavy this month. I own my business and will not hire any women. The perspectives and guidance described in this video are sound and fairly represent what is happening in the workplace and how men can protect themselves. Minimize contact with women. Have witnesses to any interactions when possible. Document date, time, place, topics, and conversations with female coworkers when no witnesses are available. These are called contemporaneous notes. This will preserve and jog your memory should a female coworker conjure up an accusation. As for complaints about ignoring female coworkers, doing nothing is much easier to defend and defend an action. Men have plausible deniability in ignoring females at work. Appear confused and say that you have a lot of work and little time for socializing. Studies show that men would rather work with other men than with women. This only serves to demonstrate how increasingly wary males have become of women throughout time, especially in the last 10 years, and how much they would prefer to communicate and work with other guys. In cubicles, meetings, and boardrooms, they prefer to work with other males rather than women because they can share information, talk about ideas, and organize their schedules together. This is due to their fear of losing the career they have worked so hard to build over a long period of time. They may lose everything with just one unfounded accusation. In a society that primarily takes into account and believes what women say, one false charge could end up being the villain. So, don't blame men, I mean. Men can see what has happened over the years, especially with the advent of the Me Too movement. They don't want to bear responsibility for something they did not commit. They don't want to lose their jobs, status, and position in society. Just to be clear, men are not saying that they are the only ones that are terrified of women here. Women also seem to be hiring fewer women in general. Also remember that, as per studies, the vast majority of HR departments are comprised of 80% to 100% women. So much for diversity. Think hard if you believe that the accused man will receive a fair, objective, and impartial evaluation of the facts of the case. According to HR professionals, harassment infractions are the only workplace misconduct that is entirely in the mind of and at the discretion of an employee. Two different men can say the same words to the same female coworker, and she can accuse the one of harassment and relish the comments of the other. Effectively, there is no universal standard defining harassment, as there is, let's say, theft. The definition of theft is the same for all employees. So are the consequences, clearly delineated in the employee handbook. The study's thorough debunking of the notion that men lack a clear sense of what constitutes unacceptable behavior, however, is what makes it so intriguing. The first step taken by the researchers was to examine 19 acts and determine whether or not to categorize them as harassment. Sending explicit emails to subordinates is an example of this. Both genders largely agree on what harassment entails, and most men and women, respectively, are aware of what it is. One of the authors of the study told the Harvard Business Review that it is mostly inaccurate to suggest that men don't realize their behavior is inappropriate and that women are making a mountain out of a molehill. If anything, women define harassment more broadly than males. Most males are able to distinguish between a lovely hug and a wicked one. They are fully aware of what is considered harassment. However, from the viewpoint of a woman, any behavior qualifies as harassment. A line manager can set up an instance in which a subordinate or junior team member is seen with the manager in the CCTV cameras as he speaks to her and gives her instructions on how to approach a particular project, and she can then essentially fabricate a story about how he was trying to harass her. This might happen if the subordinate or junior team member is asked to stay late at the office for an hour. And what about that? HR would have the woman's word any day and any time. It seems reasonable that men would want to stay away from women while they are alone in order to prevent any potential issues that may jeopardize their entire careers. Women have begun to criticize this because they feel left out. They are no longer required to work more diligently on projects and complete them at the workplace in the early hours of the morning. People prefer to invite guys to stay late and work with them since they know their careers won't be in danger. Men have everything to lose if they are reported for any false accusations, whilst women have everything to gain. Therefore, when women complain about males ignoring and isolating them at work, it is simply because they are in a far better position than men. For males to feel comfortable near women again at work, women need to let go of their anti-male narrative. However, it doesn't seem likely that will happen for a while. We will keep seeing women run to social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok to complain about new ways men are not living their lives according to how women want them to, or how men are not doing exactly what women want. Even if they do, trust me, they'll still be complaining about something. Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support. So please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.